Hey everybody. Uh, looks like we got one in here. Speaking of, I noticed after I did the stream last night, even though we had a good amount of people, like I lost two subscribers. So I don't know. I don't know if that's just a coincidence and I'm not trying to guilt anybody into subscribing to me or anything like that or resubscribing. I just hope that my unscheduled rant at the beginning of the stream last night didn't, deter people from, wanting to watch my videos, or the drinking on camera didn't deter anybody. Um, I certainly don't want to offend anybody. Um, and guys, let me know. I won't take offense at it if you say something I said or something I did on camera offended you. Um, I will, I'll certainly try to change whatever behavior or whatever was said that upset you. Um, no, we got two in here. But if it was me going off on a rant, I can try to minimize those. I know I've had, uh, I know I've had more than one here in just a short amount of time. Um, and I understand you guys are coming in here to hear about movies. You're not coming in here to hear my tales of woe. I get that. Um, and I probably really shouldn't be using you guys as my psychiatrist or therapist or whatever. I need to save that stuff for therapy sessions, which I had one today, which you know made me feel somewhat better. But I just want to apologize to any and all people that may have been a little turned off by my rant last night. So or my drinking on camera. Um, so um, I did get my hat finished. I got my buttons in today, and so I was able to put all those on there. Some on actually on the back that you can't see. I may take the hat off and like show you them at some point if anybody cares. But they're just, they're basically various horror movie buttons that I had to wait for about a week to get in. Um, hey, John, you say, for what it's worth, or for what it is, Terrifier 2 I can't talk, John, and I'm not been drinking at all today. For what it is, Terrifier 2 is good, but I just didn't enjoy it. Um, Johnny said, this person said I didn't get it, and I was obviously a Halloween Ends fan. LOL. Oh man. Always a smart ass. Um, you say, oh shit, it didn't post my comment. Which one, John? Texas, you say, I must have missed the rant, but you do you. Trust me, I've seen insane rants on other channels. Yeah, basically it wasn't a long rant, Texas, and it may have been while you were charging your phone, because I do know that you said that you were listening and then you had to charge your phone. So yeah, it wasn't like one of those where I went on for hours. So yeah, I don't think it was an insane rant, and it's not like I got drunk on camera or anything. I minimized how much alcohol I was actually drinking, and after I got off camera, I almost drank too much, and I was starting to get, a swimmy head and stuff like that, and I had to go sit on the couch and just basically close my eyes for a little while and let the stuff get out of my system. I didn't go so far as I got completely sick or was throwing up or anything like that. But, I need to, reel it in. Um, so, John, you said someone on Facebook went after you, like, for not caring for Terrifier 2? Jesus Christ. You say on the Dead Pit page. Oh, Lord. You say, I deleted my comment on Facebook because it wasn't worth the argument. Well, I hate that, John, because, this is exactly what I was talking about. Like, I've said it, more than once lately. This stuff is just ridiculous. If somebody makes a comment that they really, really like something or really, don't care for something, why do people just have to get their panties in a bunch over it? It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. You should be able to have your own opinion on something without somebody just going all out uh, verbal assault on you. It's ridiculous. So, John, you said basically someone said I didn't get it because I said it was just okay. Well, I say a lot of movies are just okay. I feel like these people forget it's opinion. Shit, ain't math and science. Exactly. Exactly, John. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, that is perfect. You say, I just feel like a lot of these people flex their opinions like it's a muscle. It's like, oh, you don't think this way and don't enjoy this. Well, you don't like horror. LOL. I'm over it. Yeah, I mean, John, I hope you never feel like that when you come in these streams because um, if anybody ever does that, like, there's one thing to be like kidding around, like ribbing each other. Like Dirt comes in here sometimes and ribs people. But if anybody ever comes in here and like just all out like assault, like a verbal assault on somebody, then I'm going to be kicking your butt out of here because that's ridiculous. We're all in here, or as far as I'm concerned, people are in my streams to have a good time and just talk about different things and stuff like that. Um, so you guys, I know who my regulars are that come in here just about every time I have a stream. So if somebody does this to you, like either on, when I'm doing a stream in this chat, and I don't see it, please let me know. If it happens, after the stream is over, please let me know because there's enough negative energy floating around me anyway. And I don't, I want these to be fun. I don't want more negative energy in there. No, John, that is perfectly fine. Like I said, I had my little rant last night at the beginning of the stream, and it wasn't about horror movies. It was about people making assumptions about me based on how I'm handling the work situation and stuff like that. And I was a little pissed. So yeah, I totally get it. Hey, 71. The title makes you hungry for cheese. It kind of does me too. Although I'm out of cheese now, so I'm gonna have to wait till I go to the grocery on Friday. Um, John, you say, nah, y'all are all cool. It was just some edgy idiot online. Every group has them. Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately. John, you say, I do a new podcast with some friends, and we across the board had two of us love it. I thought it was okay and meh, and the other guy hated it, but none of us were like, oh, you didn't get it. Yeah. When did it become a thing with horror films, at least? um, when somebody doesn't like something, somebody else will always invariably say, "Oh, you didn't get it." It's like, "What?" What does that mean? Like, does it mean, "Oh, we're not so, smart and intelligent and, uh, or are we not upper crust enough?" I don't know. This is crazy. Just crazy stuff. Huh, I know you didn't, really, ask me, Texas, but the only male I know is the girl that does the My Killer podcast, um, and I don't know if that's the same one, but that's the only male I know, at least as far as in the YouTube world. Oh, Mallory. Okay, so that's totally different girl. Um Johnny said, "A Horror Sanctum podcast on YouTube and Instagram. Check it out." I'm gonna have to check it out. I don't think TJ is in here, but I did want to say that I did watch his new short film he's got on his YouTube channel, and I really enjoyed it. It's only like a minute and something long, but it was really really good, and creepy. I thought. Um, Menelect, hey, you say, how's it going all? I'm doing better today, Menelect, than I was last night, actually. Johnny say 2022 niche audiences and people get that herd mentality shit, so they all start chiming in the same way. Yeah. Used to you could disagree and it's fine. Now you disagree and you're an idiot to people. Well, I say, you guys can come in here on my streams and disagree all you want, because I do my fair share of disagreeing. Me and No Curly Jaws were, kind of going back and forth, but we were not slamming each other. We weren't verbally assaulting each other. It's like that's why I like having No Curly Jaws on here with me, and why I like having some of you other guys and gals on here. Although I haven't had any gals per se on here, but you're always welcome. Um, but you other guys that some of you other guys that I've had, John and TJ and Dirk and stuff like that. Um, it, you guys always add something to the stream that I'm not necessarily able to achieve by myself. And so it gives somebody to another person to bounce things off of. Um, so when you say it's in the drama creator section, don't enter that domain. They're all nuts. John, you say, I love social media, but part of me misses the 90s. LOL, not having these dick measuring contests online. Exactly. I was just, I was kind of thinking about that the other day. Not necessarily about dick measuring contests, but I get what you're saying. Um, about, I didn't realize how much more simple it was back in the 90s. Um, yeah, social media was fun for about half a second. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but now it has just become people want to turn it into a proving ground or something. It's like, well, that's not what social media is really supposed to be about. In my opinion, I thought social media was supposed to be where people could get together and one thing, find old friends that maybe they hadn't seen in a while, and get reconnected with people that they hadn't talked to in years, um, and to share, like when people share certain things that they like, And people just kind of, they don't argue about it. They just say, hey, yeah, that's cool, or I don't totally 100% agree, but here's my thing. And people got along early on, but now it's exactly what you said, John, whatever. John, I cannot talk tonight. John. Um, yeah, the dick measuring contest online is just, that's ridiculous. John, you say, I personally think the violence mixed with good film thing peaked in the French films like High Tension and Martyrs, or films like Oh Boy, but just my take. Yeah, I said that was something that of course, Dirk didn't agree with me, but he was again. Dirk wasn't being nasty to me, and didn't verbally assault me just because I wasn't the hugest fan of Terrifier 2. Um, but that was something that Steve and I discussed, that we thought, I'm not against gore. I'm definitely not against gore. I've seen enough gore in my time, but I don't know what Terrifier 2 seemed like it was just throwing on the gore. I hate to say for gore's sake, but it almost seemed at some points that that's what they were doing. It was just overkill, in my opinion. For instance, the one scene where, like, he peeled some of the girl's skin off and he had sliced her and cut off a hand maybe or something, and then he got out the bleach and the salt. And like after that, like half of her face was ripped off or whatever, and she was still alive and leaning up against the headboard, and he was still torturing her. It's like, when do we, when are we going to get to any kind of like end to this? I would almost rather, why does somebody have to keep living after all this has been done in the movie? Why can't they just, end it a little bit quicker? Um, so when you say social media is full of dickheads at times, unfortunately. Um, yeah, John, that's basically what Steve and I thought too. Terrifier to me was a 2 hour gore fest, but it was good for that. I just don't care for that if the movie doesn't work for me. Yeah, and I don't think that Terrifier 2 had enough of a story. Um, and then the gore just couldn't carry the film. So, yeah, I get that. Johnny said, nothing is harder to watch for me than stuff like in Casino where Joe Pesci is beat to death with a bat, or Goodfellas, just rough, realistic kills. Yeah. Yeah, that Joe Pesci scene in Casino is, ooh, that's brutal. Yeah, 71, overly gore with no content. Johnny said, right, it was gratuitous and mean spirited to the max. 71, you say you need horror with a proper balance of gore and plot. John, you say, no joke. Damien Leone deserves a Saturn Award for makeup effects. Brilliant stuff. Storytelling, lol, eh. Right. Robert Long, hey, buddy. You say they kind of like made art look like Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street kind of movie. John, you said that movie was 4 minutes shorter than The Dark Knight. Think about it. Yeah, it really did not need to be that long. I don't know. And sorry, guys, I am eating some soup, but I've been having a little bit more of a rough day health wise. My head's been pounding and all that today. Um, so I actually thought, well, maybe if I eat some hot soup, it'll make me feel a little bit better. Um, but I am just going to step away for just a second because I put a soft drink in the freezer to get it cold because I forgot to put another one in the refrigerator. I meant to have this Coke ready or Mountain Dew ready before I started the stream. Unfortunately, didn't quite make it. But yeah, John, I totally agree. I don't know why people all of a sudden think that every damn movie, it doesn't matter what kind of movie it is, that it's got to be 2 hours or more. I'm not even opposed to an hour and 45 minutes or an hour and 50 minutes. But when these movies start to carry over past the 2 hour mark, I just have to say why. I don't understand. I really don't that's something I don't understand. I don't know why everybody thinks that they need to make an epic movie now. In my opinion, horror films don't need to be epic. Um that an hour and 30 minutes, hour and 35 minutes, something like that, or maybe just a little bit shy of 90 minutes. I mean, I think that's all we need, really. Robert Long, you say Art's friend, a little girl, a little pale girl. That was creepy. Oh, the little girl was kind of creepy. Yeah. 71, you said just chill, Dana. Some days suck shit. They most certainly do. Um, Robert Long, you said that little boy got cut real bad with the razor whip. Robert Long, you say you drink Mountain Dew. Well, I have to drink either the zero sugar or the diet because I'm diabetic, and I prefer the zero sugar better. And it might all be in my head that it tastes better, but I was unable to get the zero sugar ones the last time I went to the grocery, and so I had to get the diet ones this time. Yeah, 71. More than 2 hours is long. It is long. Um, Well, thank you, John. I mean, I'm sure I'm probably have not been getting enough rest because I ain't been sleeping good as of late, and then that wears your body down. So I probably just need to get a little extra rest is all. Well, the job hunt, keeping my fingers crossed because I did. I don't know if you were in here, John, when I was talking about I had a second interview with the smile doctors people. I mean, they're orthodontists, but I would be working for the help desk if and helping people with computer stuff like I have been in my last two jobs. Um, so I had I had the initial phone interview, and that I thought went well, and then they wanted to schedule a Microsoft Teams type of interview with me where I actually got to see the IT manager on camera, and and I'm guessing he got to see me. But he basically, it was almost like a little test he gave me. He showed me a picture of the back of a PC and asked me about a few of the ports on the back to see if I knew what those were. And then he asked me a few questions like, uh, what would you do if someone called and said that their PC wasn't powering on, or what? I think you were in here one day when I was talking about that, because you talked about closing all the 30 Chrome tabs that somebody has open, and we were laughing about that. So he did tell me at the end of that, that uh, he I guess he had 3 or 4 more of those little interviews to do, but he said, "You will definitely be hearing from me by the end of the week." And he said the next step will be meeting with him and his boss. So, I don't know. I don't 100% have it, and I'm not gonna relax until they tell me, "You have the job, you start this day," you know? But, I'm feeling better about this one than I have any of the others. I mean, some of the places that I put in applications for, I ain't heard jack from them. So, I consider, they keep, moving me forward with this one. So, keeping my fingers crossed. Texas said Lord of the Rings sake, just kidding. Well, no, Lord of the Rings, I mean, Lord of the Rings maybe could possibly justify being as long as it is. Um, and there've been humongous Stephen King novels that have been either long movies or turned into miniseries. And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, like The Stand, for instance, was an 8-hour miniseries when it originally came on. Um, So yeah, some movies, like you're talking about Lord of the Rings, and that is a huge book series, and that would take some time. But I don't think all these little horror movies need to be 2.5, or almost 3 hours long. Some of the superhero comic type of stuff, I don't think needs to be that long either. Cool, Robert Long. You said, I woke up today and watched on AMC the 1990 Night of the Living Dead. I love that one. I mean, I think this is, of course, my opinion, but Tom Savini did an excellent job with that remake. John, you say Robert Long. I like that one. 71, you say, I've never seen Lord of the Rings, saw The Hobbit as a child. Yeah, that's what I've been telling myself too, Texas, through all this miserable stuff that, since the beginning of the month, that's been going on with me. Robert Long, at least you woke up to live another day. Johnny say Terrifier 2. Maybe appreciate Rob Zombie films. Lordy. 71, you say, Danny, you just got to go with what's happening and rest as much as you can because of your weakened immunity. You have a roof over your head and that job looks good. Well, thank you, 71. These little, nobody, and I hope nobody in here feels like they have to kiss Dana's ass to keep her happy, because but just these little nice things that you guys are saying here and there that lets you know, or lets me know that you care. You care enough to say, hey, the job looks good, or good luck with this, or hope you're feeling better. Those things mean the world to me. I don't need a lot. Small amounts of praise and stuff like that and encouragement are all I really need. Yeah, I need to keep telling myself that things will end up working out in some way. So Texas, I'm not meaning to pry or anything, but have you been sick? I mean, I just noticed that talking about test results and stuff like that. And I'm sorry if you've already told me and it just slipped my mind because my brain has been mush for a while. So I do apologize if I missed something along the way. Uh, Robert Long, you said William Butler's character, he wasn't really smart. They shot at the damn gas tank on 1990 like the Living Dead. I remember Tony Todd found them gas keys in the basement. Robert Long, you said, I like the 1970s Lord of the Rings or Lord of the Animated and the Hobbit too. 71, that's a good point. You say country farmers always had their keys in open, obvious areas on hooks. At least the old timers did. I remember my papaw doing that. So yeah, and he was a farmer. John, you say I've been doing a Romero thing the past week. Bruiser, The Dark Half, Creep Show, and going to see Dawn of the Dead 3D Friday in Nashville. Me and Steve are going to see Dawn of the Dead in 3D on Friday too. We're going over to New Albany. That's the closest Regal theater to us. Take us about 7 minutes or so to get over there. So even Georgia's mediocre movies were interesting. I actually, you mentioned Bruiser. I need to go back and rewatch that one because when that first came out, and I don't think I've seen it since it first came out, and I rented it. And I just don't remember liking it very well. So, what I'm hoping is with the passage of time, if I watch it again, I will enjoy it better. Yeah, CK and Felcher and them talking Romero got me on a kick. Yeah, sometimes that's all I need to just send me off on a kick of watching, um, things maybe that I haven't watched in a while or something or just get a theme going with movies. Oh no, 71. I know you're not putting that to kiss ass. I'm just saying overall, I don't want anybody to feel like that's what they got to do. You say you're still living in uncertain times and get what you're going through. Robert Long, you say, did y'all watch 1980 Take This Y'all and Shove It? It got a Bigfoot truck in it. I don't think I have seen that, Robert Long, but maybe somebody else in here. 71 says nope, but I will look for it. Oh, okay. Just like a checkup type thing. Okay. I just making sure nobody was sick. Because I always like to keep I like to keep people in my prayers anyway. But especially if they're, sick, I like and having tests run, I like to keep them in my prayers too. John, you said Bruiser is wacky. It's very fascinating in ways, but it's strange, including the little kid at the end party with the Egyptian light staff yelling, die, die to partygoers. See, I totally don't remember that. See, that's what comes of me watching things like one time and then never watching it again. That's why I need to go back. Um, you said that part made me laugh hard. Apparently, the kid was George's kid. Um, Robert Long, you say, I can't make it to the theater and I just watched On the Dead, the Blu-ray on my 4K TV. I hate that you can't make it to see it. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't think Steve's looking forward to it per se, but he's doing it for me. So I'm gonna get to the couple of movies for Cheese Extreme Wednesday. Um, but y'all feel free to keep putting stuff up in the chat, and I will be looking as I talk about these movies. I did want to bring up before I get to the movies that I finally got my button gear, and I picked a movie for this Saturday's watch along, and it's going to be The Mutilator or Fall Break. Um, and if somebody can find it on YouTube, feel free to share the link with me, and I will put it in the description. But so far, I was only able to find a Tubi one, which probably means it's going to have commercials. And I don't think that Darren can watch things through Tubi. I don't think he has access to it. So if somebody finds another link somewhere else, YouTube or otherwise, just let me know. Just hook me up with the link, and I will make sure to put that one in the description as well. As always, though, if you have your own personal copy of it to watch, feel free to use that one. I'm sure we can get it synced up pretty well with whatever version I'm using. And, I could use my Blu ray or something like that, but I'm just lazy. And it's just easier for me to just link up with something on the internet while I'm doing these streams. Wes says, Steve don't look forward to shit aside from sleep. Well, I think that's actually what he's probably doing right now. Because it is 8:40 by my calculations, so I figure he's probably snoozing now. Good evening, Leslie. Robert Long, you say, my mother went to watch it back in the 70s, Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, I for whatever reason, I guess that's one that my parents didn't watch at the drive-in. But my dad did watch it with me much, much later. And he enjoyed it pretty well. 71, you'll look for it on YouTube. I mean, I saw where you could buy or rent it, but I like to ask people to do that just for a watch along. Robert Long, you say, Mother told us all about Dawn of the Dead, and then we rented on Betamax in 1984. Wow. Yeah, that's a blast from the past there. I never had a Betamax player, but I think my aunt and uncle did. My Aunt Sandy and Uncle Scotty. They had one of those early Betamax players. Wes, you say it's 8:40. Steven's been sleeping for 5 hours at least. Well, just before I went, maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes or so before I went on this stream, I was talking to him in the bedroom, and he wasn't asleep yet. He was watching Mark of the Vampire, I think. But evidently he was too tired to vocally tell me what the movie was. It was some black and white movie. I said, what you watching? And he didn't answer me. He just pressed a button on the remote and had the title flash up there on the screen. I was like, oh, okay. Robert Long, said, we got that for Christmas in 1983, a Betamax player. Wow. Well, she say, here's a question I've never asked you before, Dana. Does your brother like genre movies at all? And if so, which ones? If not, what movies does he like? He does like some of the genre movies, Wes. I mean, he likes stuff like Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. He likes that kind of stuff. He liked From Dusk Till Dawn. I mean, he's watched a lot of stuff with me over the years. He watched Hellraiser with me when he was quite young. Watched some of the Halloween movies. Lord, and most of that stuff that he's watched with me, he seemed to enjoy it. And I think he and my sister-in-law still watch certain things from time to time. Um, I hear, here and there that they've watched something, um, you know, one of the new horror films that's out. And even I think, sorry, my soup here. I think even my nephews, who my older nephew is what, 14 or so now, 14, 15, something like that. And he likes some horror stuff. And my younger nephew, he likes some horror stuff. They like zombie stuff. Um, and so I don't know. I guess, pretty much my whole family has had a history with horror films. I mean, my mom and dad used to watch a lot of them back in their drive-in days. But my brother also likes other types of movies. He likes some comedy movies, and um, I don't think he's too much of a drama type of film guy. I mean, he might watch a few with Stephanie, my sister-in-law, but I don't think he's like a fan per se of those types of films. And so I hope that answered your question a little bit. Robert Long, you say I had the best Christmas in the 80s. I had some good Christmases in the 80s. Radio Shack was the key. Hey, Red, you say I skimmed through a movie called Bad Ben a while back. It's worse than last broadcast. Oh boy. Robert Long, you say I'm back in early 80s. I can walk to Kmart and see a VHS movie from Good Times Home Video with electronics. Oh, God bless you, Robert Long. I remember those days too. Um, Kmart, yes. And those Good Times videos, and they were just cheap enough that us kids could get a hold, or us young people could get a hold of them quite easily. Robert Long, you say, I can't forget that song on the end of Hellraiser 3, Hellraiser. It needs a 4K soon. You say Cinemax has the rights for Hellraiser. Yeah, Wes, you say that's interesting. I've heard you talk about your folks watching them, but never your bro. Yeah, I guess I don't mean to leave my brother out. It's just when I think about horror films, I don't, until you kind of force me to think about that again. I was like, well, yeah, my brother does like quite a few horror films, and my nephews like them, and my sister-in-law likes some. Um, I guess because I don't see them quite as much as I used to, and it's hard to keep up on things quite as much. Yeah, I did. I added buttons to my at 71. I've got all kinds of horror movie buttons on it. I just got these in today. They had to come all the way from Los Angeles, California, so I had to wait about a week to get them. Um, yeah, so I'm glad you like them. You're 47, Robert Long. You're just a year older than I am. I'm 46. You still remember going to Kmart and looking at the old school VHS movies. I think actually that's where I first saw Sleepaway Sleepaway Camp VHS. I don't think that was Good Times, but um, I do remember that cover art with the shoe and the knife going up through the camper shoe, and the letter on the back, like somebody's come up behind somebody that's writing a letter to their parents from camp. and it's like somebody has gotten rid of them before they can finish the letter. Um, so yeah, Kmart Blue Light Special. You say, "Oh, I had the media home entertainment." Yeah, and that is one, the sleepaway camp one, was one that I wish that I had gotten back when I saw it, because it seemed like it disappeared from store shelves soon after that. So, and I had not watched Sleepaway Camp at that point in time. I'd seen 2 and 3, but not seen the original one at that point in time. You say media home entertainment, that's a VHS tape I had of Sleepaway Camp. Right, okay, gotcha. Um, again, you guys feel free to keep, chatting in there. I am going to talk about the 2 movies that I picked for. I am in a second, but Brandon's barking, and I don't want him to wake Steve up. So, I knew that was going to happen as soon as I got ready to talk about the movies. Robert Long said the first time I watched it was in 1985. We rented Pieces and Sleepaway Camp on Baymax. Man, I remember when I rented Pieces, but that was it was a VHS tape. Um, and I don't know how I didn't know that wasn't an American made movie. But I was a kid, so. Mm. So anyway, the movies I'm going to talk about tonight, and I'm not planning on going on too long because I've almost went on an hour. Just, um, and I don't mind, but I don't want to keep people too long past, much past 9 o'clock, if I can help it, because I was thinking that Wednesdays was the night that Uncle Bill or Uncle Rat or whatever he's calling himself these days, and Garrett do their 101 scariest movie moments or whatever. So the first, these are both in the same package. We do have 2 discs. They're not just on one disc. But Slumber Party Massacre 2 is the first one I'm going to talk about. And then I'm going to talk about Slumber Party Massacre 3, which, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't hear a lot of people talk about Slumber Party Massacre 3. I hear them talk about Slumber Party Massacre 2. I think mainly because of the driller killer has possessed the body of a rock star, and he has a drill on the end of his guitar, and yeah, I honestly, when I first saw Slumber Party Massacre 2, I thought, because I don't think I'd seen a trailer or anything, but I had already watched the first Slumber Party Massacre, and I guess I was just under the impression that uh, I'll show you guys the back of my hat. Uh, you can maybe see those. Steve was concerned that the hat with the buttons on it was going to put too much of a glare on things, but I haven't heard anybody complain, so it must not be causing too much of a problem. But so I was kind of, I guess I was pleasantly surprised when it turned out to be this wacky type of film that had horrific moments in it. But the whole thing about the driller killer doing dances and rocking and rolling all over the place before he kills people, I just found that hilarious. But it's also, in some ways, it's cheesy too, which is why I'm including this in Cheese Extreme Wednesday. Um, so I give you a little more of a plot synopsis for Slumber Party Massacre 2. So the only sane survivor of Slumber Party Massacre, um, Courtney, now played by Crystal Bernard. Yes, that Crystal Bernard from Wings. Dreams of the driller killer returning. She can't shake the horrible feeling that she and her friends will be viciously tormented and brutally butchered. Again and again, the nightmare returns. Dazed, Courtney loses control, and her nightmare crosses into reality. No one believes her until it's too late. The driller killer returns, reincarnated as an evil rocker. One by one, he methodically stalks them, then violently gores them to death. Um, so, I mean, not a complicated plot by any stretch of the imagination, but although there are some very cheesy moments in this movie, and not all of them are the evil rocker or the driller killer possessing this rocker. Um, some of it you almost begin to wonder, are these people on drugs? What, is Courtney just losing her mind? Is she on drugs? Is, you know, uh, because different things happen. Like, she sees her friend and her friend has a zit, and then the zit just kind of, it's almost like a Nightmare on Elm Street type of deal, where it just keeps puffing up and just explodes and nastiness comes out, and her friend's face is all messed up, and she's convinced that her friend is dead. And then her friend shows up. She had went to go get more Oxy 10 for her pimple. But meanwhile, Courtney's so convinced that her friend is dead that they've called the cops, and, wackiness ensues pretty much. Um, there is a scene where a chicken in the refrigerator kind of hops out of the chicken, or hops out of the refrigerator kind of onto Courtney and starts like squirting out blood and stuff. But when her friends come in there, she's screaming and carrying on. Uh, it's just basically this chicken laying on the floor. I mean, it's not moving or doing anything like that. Um, Robert Long, you say, we returned them movies, then we rented the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 85. We had a double feature to watch the Friday 13th Part 3, 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all in 1985. You say, I think the Friday 13th Part 3 and the 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre matched movies. Did you see how the dude was eating the pizza? Oh, yeah. Um, he said, "I do a killer. He was eating that slice of pizza." Yeah, you said peroxide works good. Yeah, but she kept talking about Oxy 10. And for those of you with a sharp eye, you will notice that the girl with the blemish problem is from, I believe, Friday 13th Part 7. And also, the girl from Friday 13th Part 5, Robin, is in this as well as one of the partying girls. So, yeah, I could go on and on about this movie, but I think you guys pretty much get the gist of it. But this one is fun, guys. If you've never seen it, uh, I'm almost sure that you can find a for free version on YouTube, Tubi, something like that. Again, please don't go out and buy it if you don't already own it. Um, ended up buying this double feature just because I've always been a big fan of these movies. Um, and also the Sorority House Massacre movies as well. Robert Long, you say it's not like the Pizza Man on House 4, is it? I don't think so, Robert Long. Robert Long, you say, how many times did you watch Howling 5? You remember that little boy's waiting for the bus? The man in black gets off the bus. Dr. Wynn, do you think that little boy was Corey Cunningham? I remember the little boy, Robert Long. I've seen, Howling 5 a few times, and I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible, but I guess that'll. I don't know. Brandon knocked over my light again. Um, I guess what we're probably going to have to do is, because I can guarantee they're going to make another Halloween movie. I don't care that they called this last one Halloween Ends. There's going to be another one. Um, yeah, Dr. Wynn kicked the dog. Yeah. So perhaps they'll try to tie in Halloween 5 with a new David Gordon Green Halloween. Yeah, the little boy had glasses on. Corey wore glasses, and actually, if I'm thinking back, kind of does look like that guy, Corey. um, so moving on to Slumber Party Massacre 3. Slumber Party Massacre 3, in my opinion, of the Slumber Party Massacre trilogy, I think this is the weakest one. I'm not saying it don't have some cheesy stuff in it. It does. The killer being very cheesy in this, and the killer is played by Britton Fry, who was in another movie that I've talked about, Hide and Go Shriek. But I think he was much better in Hide and Go Shriek than he was in this. And this was after Hide and Go Shriek, because Hide and Go Shriek was like late 80s. And Slumber Party Massacre 3 was like 1990. Yeah. And I think there were maybe 2-3 years between Hide and Go Shriek and this movie. And I'm like, dude, what happened to your acting skills? Um, he, I think part of what made this one extra cheesy is the fact that he seemed to go over the top with this, and maybe he was told to go way over the top with it. But it's cheesy. It's got girls taking off their clothes at the drop of a hat. I think you've got at least one or two Playboy playmates in this movie. Um, so, and you also, on this Blu-ray, you actually have the original 75-minute R-rated version. You have the 87-minute unrated cut, which is high def with some standard definition footage. So keep that in mind if you do watch that version. So that's that's like 12 minutes extra footage in this. And I actually need to go back, because most of the time when I watch it, I watch that 87-minute unrated version. So I actually need to compare the two and see what the big difference is between the two. Um, yeah, actually, Robert Long, the little boy, did look pretty frightened. Gosh, we went down to just two people, Robert Long. It's you and somebody else in there. What I'm thinking is probably most people went over to Uncle Bill and Garrett, um, which is fine. You know, I'm not upset over that at all. I try my best not to crisscross and intersect with their stuff that they're doing, but sometimes it's a little hard to keep track of when people are doing things. Um, so I'm going to give a little plot synopsis on Slumber Party Massacre 3 for you. 7 California co-eds are dressed to kill, and a murderer is, well, dressed to drill. He's an insomniac looking for luscious bods to bore, and it looks like he'll find them at the Slumber Party Massacre. The Driller Killer is back in part 3 of the classic horror fest, but not really, guys, because this is a totally different storyline, has nothing to do with Russ Thorn. Russ Thorn is not possessing any body to do his bidding in this. This is basically a guy who, when he was a boy, his uncle was a cop, and his uncle must have molested him and messed him up. And then I think his uncle committed suicide or something like that, and so that messed him up even more. Um, and so now he's killing girls. Uh, so this time, Jackie, Diane, and Maria are 3 high school girls who love a good time. When they party, they bust out of their bikinis and break out the brews. But the Driller Killer is out for his own brand of thrills with his drill, and he's ready to kill. Now, I'm not saying that this movie's not fun, but it simply, in my opinion, is not the best of the series or the best of the trilogy. It is better than that remake that they made of the Slumber Party Massacre. I will say that. Um, but, and I would not say don't watch it. I mean, if you can watch it for free, definitely give it a watch. Um, but don't expect it to be quite as fun as either the first one or definitely not the second one. Um, unless you're just, wanting to see scantily clad girls and not much else, then you might care for it. And I'm not judging anybody. If you're a guy that likes to look at that, if you're a lesbian woman that likes to look at that, I say go for it. I mean, I'm not going to say that anybody's wrong for any reason. Why, if they're not hurting anybody, and whatever they enjoy in the privacy of their own home or whatever, then I say more power to you. I'm just saying, as far as favorites in that series or that trilogy, um part 3 just to me does not hold up as well as the other two. um but it does have its moments, I will say that. So, guys, I have officially finished talking about, normally I don't make these Cheese Extreme Wednesdays very long. Um, I usually, like I said, I limit it to 2 movies. I just basically talk about why they're cheesy and if I like them very well or whatever. Um, and of course, we did a little talking beforehand, which was fine. I enjoy that. Um, Hey, Dirk, you say, hey, Dan, just got in from the woods, got a new feeder, and the damn timer didn't go off. No. Um, well, Dirk, I was probably going to get off of here soon, but is there anything that you wanted to ask or bring up or anything before I do get off here? I was probably going to get off here about 9:10, 9:15, depending on if anybody, you know, wanted to bring up anything else. Um, so it's kind of, you guys can throw things out there, and me and Robert Long's been having a pretty good discussion about different things, talking about watching old Betamax and VHS movies. And I found out that Robert Long is only a year older than I am. So a lot of the video memories, we have a lot of the same or similar memories. I guess my question for you, Dirk, would be: did you see any big bucks today, or were you actually hunting, or were you just getting things set up for the deer? Because I haven't heard my mom talk a lot about my dad. Usually I start hearing my dad talk about deer hunting and stuff. Was my Halloween watching like? Are you talking about like leading up to Halloween or actually on Halloween? Because I've been watching a lot of different stuff like I always do around the season. I usually start at the beginning of October and start watching stuff clear on to Halloween. Um, and then sometimes I'm still watching Halloween type stuff or that kind of theme material November 1st sometimes. Yeah, I know, Dirk. You're a year younger than me. 71, you say all the deer are running scared here, none in the yard anymore. I would imagine so. It's that time of the year. Dirk, you say I was in a box stand. I was hunting, didn't see nothing. My cousin saw a doe today. Yeah, I always liked it. I remember growing up hearing my dad talk about those elusive deer stories, the big majestic buck that they were looking for. And I don't think dad ever found that. I mean, he killed some nice bucks. But and I don't know, I can't remember, Dirk, if you said that you eat the deer meat or not. I mean, if you're just a trophy hunter, that's cool. But dad usually would process the meat in some way. And would I always look for it. My mom would fry up deer meat. She'd bread it and fry it up like deer tenderloin. Um, and then later on, Dad would have it processed at. There was this place he went to. He has went to several times. Webb's Butcher Block. I want to say it's in Indiana, but I could be wrong. But he had deer sticks made that were kind of like beef sticks, that you get at the store, only they're made out of the deer meat. He had summer sausage made and jerky made and all of that. Um, hey, oh, girly Jaws, you said fuck Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Hey, everyone. Um, but Dirk, kind of, I guess to answer your question about the Halloween watching, I've basically been watching a variety of stuff. I've been watching the original Halloween movies. Um, I watched Witchboard. I watched Night of the Demons. Uh, um, we're gonna have a watch along for the Mutilator Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Um, let's see, in case again, if anybody wants to join me on the stream for that. Let's see. I watched Return of the Living Dead 4K. I've watched the Friday Night 4K, Army of Darkness 4K. I still need to watch Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Yeah, just a variety of stuff. That's, usually anything and everything that sounds interesting to me, I'll watch it. And I guess I don't really need to have Halloween as an excuse to do that, but I kind of do. And I'll probably rewatch like at least the first Halloween, like 1978 Halloween, um, again on Halloween, probably after the trick or treaters go stop coming for the night, and I'm not handing out candy. Which basically, I got to get my ass in gear and get the treat bags fixed up for the trick or treaters. So I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow, so I know if I need to buy some more candy when I go to the grocery store. Um, Dirty said, "Nothing gets waste, not really, for the trophy, but older bucks is choice above all." Gotcha. Derek, the watch along will be at 7 p.m. Eastern time Saturday. Uh, TJ's on top of it. 7 p.m. Saturday. Um, so I guess I'm going to stay on here about 30 seconds or a minute more. I do apologize to you guys that weren't able to get in here earlier, for seeming like I'm kind of skipping out on you guys, but yeah, beat you to it. Haha. TJ, I don't think you were in here earlier when I was saying, but I did watch your short film that you just put up recently, and it was really good. I mean, honestly, it was really good, and scary for that minute, and however many seconds it was. I mean, I thought that was a great idea. I really did. Um, I just wanted to let you know that I did watch it and I did enjoy it. Um, but like I said earlier, I haven't been having the best day health wise. I mean, I know that's old hat with me now, but I had been feeling, slightly more normal. But like last night and today, my head has just been killing me, and I just feel all stopped up, and my stomach's not been right, and all that. So, um, and Ben, let's see. TJ Sal, thanks, Dana. Much appreciated. Really, I'd like to see more of those things that you do, because you can do. I mean, and I'm not trying to kiss your ass or anything, TJ. I mean, honestly, you can do more with a minute and so many seconds than some people can do with 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? And I wish, more people would take a look at things like you're doing, or even the things that you're doing, and kind of take notes from that, because we talked about movies being a little bit overly long earlier, and like I think people need to. I'm not saying go out and make a full length movie at a minute and so many seconds. I'm just saying they could take notes from somebody like you that is able to create tension and suspense and creepiness all in a short amount of time. And I think they could maybe learn to tighten their stuff up a little bit. Dougie said, "Okay, cool. It'll be 6 my time. I'll join, but I'll be late. I'm in hunt mode." I understand that. My dad's a hunter, Dirk. I get that. I'll get in about 8 your time, probably. Gotcha. And Dirk, you say, "I need to check your stuff out, TJ." Yeah, his stuff is really, really good, Dirk. Um, so, guys, with all that being said, I want to thank everybody that's been in here tonight. And Robert Long, if you're still in here, I really enjoyed the conversation. Dirk, TJ, I enjoy you guys And old Curly Jaws, I enjoy you guys coming in a little bit later, but it's always good to see you guys. Um, and I may try to do something tomorrow night. I don't know what. It might be another horror ABCs in my collection. If I do, it'll be the letter I. Um, and then, of course, I probably won't be doing anything Friday because Friday night, Steve and I are going to see Dawn of the Dead in 3D, and I don't think the movie doesn't start till like 7:15, so I don't imagine I'll be up to doing anything by the time I get home from the movie. Um, Dirk, you say, "Hey, I was late. Hope everything is going your way." Uh, Things are a little bit better other than the health stuff today, Dirk. I'm not in rant mode. So, um, oh, thank you, TJ. You say, have a good night and feel better. So thank you guys all for being in here with me tonight. And I more than likely will do something tomorrow night and skip Friday. And then, of course, we'll have the watch along on Saturday for the mutilator. Um, TJ, you say Friday is Mystery Science Theater's 3D special I'll be watching. Awesome. Steve would probably like to be doing that rather than what he's going to be doing. So, anyway, with all that being said, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now.